Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Blue Archive video. So let's talk about the final restriction boss CHOKMAH. Now the current season that we have is going to be the special armor, therefore you're going to need a lot of mystic type DPS characters. Alright, Shiroko Terror is still going to be very good right here. Now if you have a Shiroko Terror on your own, she is going to shine right here. Now let's talk about the mechanics of this particular boss, how different it is and what should you try to bring in, which students are going to be meta in terms of trying to tackle CHOKMAH in general. Now the boss is going to be a very unique ship hybrid boss that can transform into this robot dragon thing. He is going to fire occasionally, all the shells right here, and that's going to be very annoying. The fireballs as well, right? Now whenever the boss fires those fireballs on your allies, you ideally want to time it so that you can debuff the boss. That's where certain character like Cycling Shiroko shines. Now Cycling Shiroko, as far as I know, is one of the few characters that have the ability to decrease attack right here by 50%. So that's very good. She is going to be one of the better students to try to engage, trying to reduce the boss's rocket damage overall. Now you can still probably get away with not having Cycling Shiroko, but you might have to restart multiple times because the rockets can be firing at one student, sometimes hitting the multiple hits, right? And that's going to be annoying. Once you reach level 99 and level 100, that's going to be where Cycling Shiroko is going to be much needed, right? So one more thing is going to be this particular thing. Now you are going to be surrounded by this giant ballista at the back. So ideally, the boss is also going to try to summon the steel wheel, and the steel wheel is going to try to hit the giant ballista. Ideally, your objective right there is to prevent that from happening. So you can use students that can generate cover or can block that from happening, right? So that's where Arm Hoshino comes in. So she is going to be able to do that to prevent those ballista from getting destroyed. Ideally, every time you see the boss trying to fire those things, that's what you want to do, right? You can basically see it from the red line. Now one more important thing, CHOKMAH destroys all cover, enters frenzy, continuously shooting flame breaths, dealing 50% of attack as damage per hit to enemies in the fan-shaped normal attacks, alright? So you're going to see this once in a while, and this is going to be in relevance to the stat that CHOKMAH will enter. If CHOKMAH is in the frenzy state, the following effects are applied. Even when the reactor gauge hits 0%, it does not enter recovery state. Alright, that's very this kind of sucks, right? You want it to enter recovery state. If the reactor gauge is below 70%, increase damage taken by 100%. So ideally, you want to make sure that the reactor gauge is below 70%, alright, because this is going to be the best one. Removes unstable effects and decrease crit resistance by 100%. Drastically increase reactor gauge if striker enemy retreats. And hopefully that's pretty much why you want to always keep the reactor gauge below certain percent. Now how do you do that, right? So what is the plan right here? This is where DOT characters shine. Alright, this is where Swimsuit Saori or DJ Saori, she's going to be very strong right here. The reason why is because when CHOKMAH takes damage over time, alright, DOT, from a debuff, the reactor gauge decreases. So you want to make sure that this reactor don't actually go certain 70% preferably, right? Or try to reduce it as much as you can. When the reactor gauge reaches 0%, CHOKMAH enters recovery state. So what does this do, right? This is going to reduce crit damage resistance by 50%, crit resistance by 100%, and gains unstable flame effect. Now this is the most important thing, right? This is why you probably don't need Dress Arco right here. Dress Arco is not really used in CHOKMAH, just due to the nature that you can basically apply a debuff to the boss by decreasing the boss's crit damage resistance and crit resistance. So therefore you are able to constantly crit as well. This is very good, right? So that means you can just focus on using DOT characters instead. You want to fill that role up with Swimsuit Saori. You can also use Reijo. Reijo is very strong as well, gives you cost recovery in that sense, right? And then one more thing is this one just decrease damage taken by 50%. CHOKMAH hit prevents all enemies from taking cover. You can't really do that as much. Now the last two skills is going to be this particular one, this particular two skill, right? So let's look at this particular one first, the fire ballista. So sometimes you can see the ballista being fired to the enemy. So once activated, the ballista controller can only be attacked by EX skills. It fires when its HP drops below 1%. Now during the firing of the ballista, during this state, every striker crit rate is going to increase to the max and cost recovery increased by 1000. This will last for 22 seconds. So during this duration, you want to take advantage of this. You want to make sure to try to reduce CHOKMAH's reactor to 0% first and time it according to this, right? The Ballista firing this to basically get the 100% crit rate, and then try to spam your skills as much as you can. Alright, that's going to be very, very important. So last but not least, when the Ballista controller fires, CHOKMAH enters groggy, increased damage taken by 50% while in groggy, very, very important. And you want to time that as well with the Ballista preferably, and removes unstable flame effects, increases damage taken by 25% as well. Now, with that, let's talk about a few characters, right? Who is going to be important? You are going to need 2 cover because CHOKMAH is going to basically try to fire you, the fireballs, and you want to have 2 barrier or cover students that can basically prevent that from happening in the later phases. That one of it is going to be Arm Hoshino. She's going to be very, very strong. Make sure this is going to be the shield variant, alright, not the shotgun one. So this one is going to give her the ability to tank and protect some of your other students. One more in this case, we are going to be bringing Swimsuit Kirino. Now, if you don't have Swimsuit Kirino, I hope you have, but she is going to be the better one. You can also use Shizuko, not the swimsuit one, but the regular Shizuko. This is going to give you increased accuracy and also give you cover, right? But I feel like Swimsuit Kirino is going to be better because her cover also gives you attack %. Now that's going to be the most important thing for all your students, right? You want to have that. That's going to be the best one moving forward. Alright, so this attack % is going to be able to help you a little bit, right? So of course we're going to have Kotama for that, but you know, just in case, you know, that buff doesn't run out. Now Shiroko Terror is going to be our main DPS, so she's there primarily because, you know, the boss is going to have the you have to rely on the basic skill, so she's just there firing rockets as per usual. I also have Kotama for the attack buff. Now Kisaki is going to be used alongside with Swimsuit Saori, which I do not have, which is why I have to rely on some assistant to basically borrow, and it's quite hard to find a Swimsuit Saori. Not many players have. I believe I found one earlier, so not this one. Okay, so there's one right here. Is this max? Okay, so Swimsuit Saori right here, as you can see, that's a 5-star. So she is going to be able to help us with that scenario. So you're going to have one healer right here. If you don't have Idol Mary, use Kokona. Alright, so I figured I use Idol Mary because you know, I have her build already. But if you don't have yet, use Kokona. Both are going to be very, very good options for you to be able to, you know, try your strategy in CHOKMAH just to have the cost reduction occasionally. Now the last one is going to be Reijo right here. Now if you don't have Reijo, you know, there's a lot of other options that you can use. You can use New Year Kayoko just to buff either your Swimsuit Saori or your Shiroko Terror from time to time. That could be a good option. Reijo is going to be the DOT buffer in that sense. Her ability is pretty much, right here is just to increase the enhancement effect of the DOT, right, for chill and poison. So she's going to amplify Swimsuit Saori's damage. But she's not like a must-have. So it is replaceable. You can use New Year Kayoko right here as well, and to buff like either one of the other 2 DPS, and that way you are going to get about the same damage, right? But I'm going to try her out right here. And last but not least, Onsen Shigure is there for the heal. If you don't have Onsen Shigure, you can actually, Onsen Shigure is probably not really needed as much, because if you have everyone else, you can basically get away with just having one Idol Mary, and then she's going to heal. You're not going to need as much healer because with the debuff from cycling Shiroko, that's going to be more than enough to help you. But a better option would be to use New Year Akari, which I do not have, sadly. Again, one more option that I wish I have. But New Year Akari is going to be a very good one. Increased attack speed right here, and just going to be able to give you a bunch of things, and also like Mystic effectiveness for everyone. So that's just overall a good thing. So other than that, this is going to be pretty much the strat, right? Also, I just want to quickly mention that if you are fighting a boss level 75 and above, now the boss has this new ability, which is going to be this one right here. Okay, so notice this one is a bit different. So increase CHOKMAH's reactor gauge, increase damage taken by 10% upon taking damage over time, DOT, from a debuff. So the more debuffs you have, the more 10% per debuff. That means if you can stack more debuffs, that means you are going to do more damage. All incoming damage increase effects applied to CHOKMAH cannot exceed a combined total of 160% total. So what you can do if you don't want to use what's the name, Onsen Shigure, you can also use Saya. Now Saya is very cheap, very budget friendly, or casual Saya depending on who you have. Saya, you don't really need to use her EX skill. She can always activate the basic skill from time to time, and this is going to do poison over time. Poison DOT, still kind of cool, so that's going to be also an option. Okay, so let's go. This is going to be the level 74. Alright, so as you can see, we're going to start off with Swimsuit Shiroko. I mean, Terror Shiroko, not Swimsuit. Kotama buff, make sure you buff all 3 of the units. You want Swimsuit Saori and Shiroko Terror mainly to get the buff. Those 2 are your main DPS. We're going to go Reijo. And then we're going to go Kisaki. Oh shoot, I forgot to set Swimsuit Saori earlier. Okay, never mind. Swimsuit Saori afterwards. And then cycling Shiroko, when you see the floor red, cycling Shiroko. So that means the boss is going to shoot the rockets. So that's going to be the time where we are going to... Okay, now by about now we go up there with the Hoshino to block that side. And then we repeat the process, right? We go Kotama, we find somebody to heal. Doesn't matter who to heal, just always heal when you have 2 costs so that we get the cycling later. And then, I mean the cost reduction, right? And then always go with Swimsuit Saori and then Kisaki. Let me turn off my face cam. Okay, so as you can see right now, rotate accordingly. Reijo, Kotama, find somebody to heal. Heal whoever that's low. Now everybody get the EX -1 cost reduction. Okay, very good. Now Swimsuit Saori to Kisaki. Alright, cycle through this. For now it's simple and straightforward. Okay, you see the floor glow red, cycling Shiroko now. And then Reijo and then Kotama. Unless you need to move your Hoshino around, we don't need to worry. Okay, now you see that at the back we got the reactor now, right? So now this reactor is there. Oh, I need to block this first. Reactor is there, we're gonna wait for Reijo. I'm cycling around for Reijo to hopefully find Reijo. I'm going to use Reijo to destroy that, right? Okay, Reijo destroy that. So now I'm going to fire the hook. Zoop! Okay, the boss is in groggy state. So find somebody to heal. We're going to cycle through very fast. Now you can see my EX, my regen is insane right now, right? You can, I don't know if you guys noticed that. So I'm just going to spam skill. Reijo. Okay. Try to spam even more, I should. You can ideally you want to set it up that phase so that you can fire Swimsuit Saori twice. I think I sort of like, I can do better there, right? So you want to set up that phase so that during the groggy. Okay, Kirino here, boom. The 2 balls are coming. Hoshino there, bam. Okay, each of you take one side. Okay, back to Reijo, Swimsuit Saori, Kisaki. Block those things. Block those things. It doesn't matter. Okay, buff with Kotama again. Rebuffed it. Okay, so we're just gonna cycling through. Cycle Shiroko, and then go with Reijo. Now again, if you don't have Reijo, feel free to use any other DOT character, or you can use another buffer right here. Even Dress Aru might work, right? You can use Dress Aru just to buff Swimsuit Saori right there instead of Reijo, right? That would be better. Swimsuit Saori is going to need more buffs. Okay, I will need to block that. Uh-oh, wrong button, wrong button. Here, oh shoot, Reijo is getting too much fire. Okay, spray Kisaki on the sprayer, and then heal Reijo. Reijo is dying. Okay, this CHOKMAH, man, this CHOKMAH. Okay, you can see reactor is up. So reactor will be up 2 times, alright? Set it up this time, set it up. I think I'm going to go Reijo. Okay, look at this. Zoop, Reijo. Okay, Shiroko Terror. Spray water, Kisaki. And then heal, find somebody to heal for whatever reason, even though they don't need to heal. Kotama buff, Reijo again. And then just cycle through, man, just cycle through. Spray the fire again, water I mean. Okay, spray as much as you can, find somebody to heal. Okay, buff. Okay, phase 2 or whatever this thing is. So during this phase, it's a little bit tricky, alright? Need to focus a little bit. Okay, phase 2. Phase 2. Alright, so we're gonna fire this. Okay, we're gonna come nearer here. Put one more shield here. So this is gonna protect everyone. Okay. Buff everybody. Heal if I need to. Should be able to do it, right? Sorry, Misaki. Goodies. Rachel. Back again. Is enough. Swimsuit Saori. Isaki. Oh, that was close, that was close. Okay. Alright, so that's where you do the most damage, the second phase, or whatever that phase that is, right? That is where majority of the damage are going to come in. If I'm not mistaken, Swimsuit Saori ideally will be the one that does the most damage. Yeah. So Shiroko Terror is strong and all, but for this particular boss, Swimsuit Saori shines. So if you are struggling, try to borrow like a strong Swimsuit Saori. I don't know how many people have UE50 Swimsuit Saori. It's gonna be quite rare for sure, but this is going to be an example of a showcase. Now that is a level 74 boss, alright? Level 99, level 100. The timing and concept is going to be pretty much the same, but if you're struggling a little bit with the survivability, considering taking out Saya for Onsen Shigure, and see if you can, if you need a little bit extra healing, that could be something that you are going to lean towards too, right? So yeah, with that being said, that is going to be pretty much it for this particular video. Let me know if you guys have any questions, or you know, if you are struggling regarding CHOKMAH. I think I'll have to wait the next day before I can borrow one more Swimsuit Saori, because I only have one in my friends list. With that being said, if you guys haven't already, subscribe, give this video a like, and maybe I'll stream later on Twitch if you guys want to tune in right there as well. That's going to be where I'll, you know, do more testing on CHOKMAH if I have spare time, right? As per usual, have a nice day. Goodbye.